Hello, I'm Wally Haas. I'm Executive Director of Transform Rockford and your host for Rockford on the Record. Today's guest is Leon Smith, who is the Adult Education Coordinator, is that correct, of the Rockford Public Library, and we're here to talk about online learning opportunities. Before we get into that, Leon, give us a brief bio of yourself.
Like you said, my name is Leon Smith. I have been with the Rockford Public Library just a little bit over 9 years. I'm retired Air Force, and I am an advocate for the adult learning education. I'm currently pursuing my doctorate degree from Liberty University in public administration, and my capstone is adult education, and we're focusing on the trickle-down education, which is what we put a lot of emphasis into the students that we're working with. Born and raised in Rockford, went to Boylan Catholic High School for 3 years, graduated from Auburn, and from there joined the United States Air Force.
Wonderful. So, Leon, you talk about adult education, adult online education. What's the problem we're trying to solve?
The problem we're trying to solve is that here in Rockford, we have about 30,000 adults that don't have a high school diploma. And we feel that a lot of the issues and the problems that's going on in our town and our school system could be contributed to that factor. So our goal is to reach out and try to put a dent in that 30,000.
And how are you doing that? How does the program work?
The program, the way it works is it's all online. And the uniqueness of our program is, first and foremost, it's online, and then students have the opportunity to begin where they left off in high school. So that simply means that if I'm 45 now and I left high school due to a pregnancy, and now I want to go back to school, so they pick up where they left off in high school. So if they was a junior when they left, they come in as a junior, and they also are allowed to bring in any GED classes that were passed. Also, the uniqueness of our program is all our students they're going to get a high school diploma, and also they're going to get a career certificate from Smart Horizons, which is the high school they graduate from, which is in Florida.
So from my discussions with employers, a high school diploma is more valued than a GED. Is that correct?
Well, to them, that's what they say, but I'm willing to gamble that same employer probably could not pass that GED test. That's a tough test. But unfortunately, that's the stigma that's placed on the GED, that it's not as valuable as a high school diploma. Here at the Rockford Public Library, our goal is try to get individuals to a place where they can continue life, either continue with a higher learning or to continue and be placed in a higher earning wage job.
Now, when you talk about adult learners here, what's the average age of a person taking a class through your program?
Well, the average age for the class that we have is between 32, 35, up to about 42, 45. That's the bulk of our students. The majority of our students are females, and as I mentioned earlier, they left high school mostly from pregnancy. So that's where we stand. And so what we try to do is in our recruitment, we know exactly who our students are, and our students is in that age range, and we look for students who have completed at least the 10th grade going into the 11th grade or passed one GED test.
Now, Leon and I had a discussion last week about his program, and you have an amazing success rate as far as retention, students graduating, and going on to get jobs.
Yes, there's approximately 2,000 programs that's in the nation. That's part of the Career Online High School profile, and we are number one in retention and also graduation rate.
So let's emphasize that. Number one in the nation here in Rockford with this online career program.
And we are in the nation, and we house in Rockford, yes. And we got to that number because what we did, we took an opportunity to look back and see the type of student that we were trying to help. And so one of our backers, who is the Provenzano family, Peter and Heather, we sat down and we looked at, how can we be effective and efficient in this program? And so what we did was we looked for those individuals that just got out of high school, that was in 11th grade, and we really reached out to those. Those are opportunities that we can grasp and get individuals across the finish line faster. And then also in 2014, the GED test went from the paper version to the computer version. And unfortunately, anybody who had not completed all 4 classes had to start over from scratch. So there's a bulk of individuals that's in the city that have completed 3 tests, and they need just that one test. So that's who we really hone in on: students who are 11th grade and better, and students who have completed 3 tests. So what we do is they can bring those 3 GED tests in. They just got to complete the career portion, and then what they didn't pass for the GED test, and they are able to complete it.
Now, you said these students can pick up where they left off in high school. How do they get their transcripts?
Well, that's a service that we provide. We have a great partnership with District 205, and also with the Boone County education system that has all the GED credits. And it's pretty simple. Due to the technology and advance in the internet, we can use what's called Parchment, and Parchment has most of their transcripts.
Okay, so now one of the things we were discussing is that if we install the value of education to these older learners, they will then pass that down to their children, and we'll be better off as a community.
Absolutely. That's what we call the trickle-down effect. When we look throughout the community, we have a lot of organizations that really want to help, that really want to be a positive influence, and a lot of them are directed towards kids. So you're looking at District 205, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, a lot of funds going into helping the same individual. But what we're looking at is if we can help the parent. In my program, I have 3 parents that have, each one has 8 kids, so that's 24 kids. So if we can help mom, then mom's going to help the kids. And we see the impact, and I see it all throughout our program. Once moms start putting emphasis on her education, then the kids start putting emphasis on their education. And I think it's more value in helping mom and helping her condition, and then she can help her kids. Because what we find is a lot of these programs, although they want to help, they're closed on Saturdays and Sundays, and then also holidays. And then you have over the summer where they really can't get the help that they truly need. But if we can equip mom with what she needs, then she can, in turn, instill that in her kids.
How many graduates have you had at this point?
We have had about 103. We graduated 48 students. We have been doing this program since 2017. But in earnest, we probably have been really focused on it in about the last 4 or 5 years, which is when Peter and Heather got involved. Peter got Lorraine Logan involved, and James Keeling and some other individuals that was able to come on and also help out. So we really, since about the last 4 years, we have cranked out about 103. And this past June, we graduated 48. And we anticipate graduating 60, and our number has went from 1 to 15, 48, and we're going to continue growing.
How do people learn about your program?
Well, the Rockford Public Library has a great and excellent marketing department. We use our Facebook page. We have our e-blast and other marketing tools that's available to the RPS. But our greatest recruiter is our graduation. We just had a graduation in June, where we graduated 48, like I said. And then what happened was we graduated 48, but if the fire marshal came through, we would have been in trouble, because it was absolutely just, it's really moving, because I love it because it's so rewarding, because what I see is adults who didn't have hope was locked into jobs, and we really bring people out of the shadows, because there's a lot of people who don't have high school diploma, and they're marking, I have one, because they have to take care of their family. So when you hear the stories where I had to do this in order just to make my family, make ends meet for my family, but now I can do it with pride, and I can go apply for these jobs. So it's absolutely fine. I mean, I hope you come next June. I promise you won't leave with dry eyes.
So 48 this year. You anticipate 60 next year. Mm-hmm. How large can the program grow?
Well, one of the things that I'm an advocate about is that my vision, my hope is that the mayor steps in and the mayor says, this is a big problem, and we have all these agencies that's trying to help. You got the Goodwill who's doing a great job. You have Rock Valley with the GED. You have us, and I think if we just put urgency on it and say, I know the mayor's he's a big proponent of the Peace Center, but one of the big things that cause families to break up is funds, monies, and not having jobs, not being able to take care of their kids. So maybe we invest in this, put individuals in a situation where they can be more successful. Then I think we can probably help that problem along with our state's attorney, where we have that revolving door. If we can get education and those things, I think there's really no limit on what we can grow. But in the library capacity, we can handle probably anywhere between 75 to 100 a year.
Very good. Now, you had mentioned Goodwill. Now, there was a recent announcement that the Goodwill Excel Center, which is also for adult learners, but that's a physical location rather than an online location. How can your program partner with what's going to happen with Goodwill?
Well, the way I look at it is like this. No one learning style fits everybody. There's some individuals that need to go sit in the classroom, and there's some individuals who are a little busy and don't have time for that. And that goes back to what I was saying with the mayor, where we can have a conversation and say, hey, look, how can we put forth a plan and say, hey, look, this is how we're going to address these 30,000 individuals who don't have a high school diploma. I think the library is a great starting point because we have 3 locations plus our mobile library where we can really reach out to individuals and help them get signed up and give them a pathway of which way they need to go. That's
So all this is possible now. It wasn't possible 20 years ago because we had to have a change in state legislation to allow high school diplomas through this kind of learning, correct?
Well, what you're talking about the about the high school diploma,
Okay.
where District 205 was really really trying to help adults get their high school diploma. So they extended that the regular high school up to 21, like through Roosevelt and things of that nature. When we came in, now there's another player in the arena, which is Youth Bill. Youth Bill is allowed to do high school diplomas from 16 to 24. So we kind of overlap in there, because we go from 21 on up. So definitely with the change in regulation, definitely with the identifying that we need to do something better and make things available.
Now, 10 years ago, I wrote about this issue when I was working at the paper, and at that time, I used the number 45,000 without GED or a high school diploma. Does that mean we've really made progress, or is it just a hard population to track?
Well, actually, I have referenced your article in many of my discussions, and that 45,000 was for Boone and Winnebago County.
Okay.
Now we're looking at Rockford with 30,000 individuals, and unfortunately, what happens is each and every year between the 4 schools, 500 to 600 adults leave high school without a high school diploma. So we're adding roughly between 500 to 600 people per year to that number that you quoted. So if you look at that number, it was pretty much split between Boone and Winnebago, about 23. So we're kind of moving up, and we're moving in the wrong direction. And one of the goals that Peter Provenzano had was to break even of 0, where we can graduate 500 people from our program to put a stop in the 500 that's leaving out each and every year.
Okay. If you had a wish list, and not just for your program, but for education in general, what would be on it?
A wish list. First and foremost, that we would definitely resign Aaron Jarrett. I believe that especially with the breakup of the Department of Education on the horizon and the uncertainty that would bring, I think definitely right now would be an absolutely awful time for us to start from 0 again. And the second would be that we would put focus on adult education. And I think by focusing on adults, we're definitely going to help the children. And I just want us to be cautious and to put emphasis on education. And I would love for Rockford to be known as a city of highly educated individuals. You don't have to have bachelor's degrees. You don't have to have master's, but a high graduation rate. I think we right at, they say about 76% or something like that. I would love for us to see us right around 85, 90%. And I definitely think that's possible.
Right. Well, so, you've had experience in the classroom as well as what you're doing today. So how does that experience translate into how you're addressing the situation?
I think everything that I have done previously to get to this point has prepared me for this point, because I have had an opportunity to have a look inside the family home where I worked at Kennedy, I worked at West, I worked at Auburn, where I had students that would come in the morning. One tragic story that I remember was I had one of my students that come in. They said, "Hey, Mr. Smith, guess what happened to me this week? Guess what I seen?" Me thinking it's going to be something minor, but she watched a man get shot and die on her porch. So now you had to deal with some counseling and those type of things, and the stories of and as we talked before, I'm gonna step back a little before, as we talked last time about Maslow's pyramids of need. Right. I think if you ask me what I would like to do, I would like for us for that to be a guide, because I think some teachers from administration, from the state, are pressured to get certain things done, but they have students who are worried about where I'm going to eat, my safety, and those type of things. So they're not really there. They're there physically, but they're not there mentally. So I wish we can handle that as well. Put Maslow's pyramids of need in place, and also it would be nice if we can separate classrooms based on how they learn, either visually, audibly, or physically, or how I learn. And I think if we put people in the atmosphere and where they can learn and where they're strong suit, I think we might see some positive things.
So, are there any organizations that are working on that end of the spectrum for education and helping the kids at their home level before they get to school?
I'm pretty sure there is. And one thing that I can say about District 205 is they get a lot of blame for a lot of things, but they're really trying to help. And in some instances, it appears they're going as far to try to step in for where the parents should be, where the parents' duties should begin. So that line has been blurred. So when you look at, I can't remember, I'm pretty sure you're going to remember, but where the police came up with this plan where they was going to foretell, or they was going to tell the parents that something happened at home and this kid may have a bad day. Mm-hmm. That's, to me, I think that's good intentions. Mm-hmm. But once again, the teacher got a lot of things that we worry about. It seemed like they're doing a lot more than what they have to do. And just like when we had the 46% absentee rate, I'm pretty sure a lot of people was up in arms with Dr. Jarrett, and blaming him for some of them things. But last time I checked, he's not driving a big bus, driving them all to school. He's doing the best that he possibly can. So I think, me being on Transform Rockford, mm-hmm. I think what we should focus on is the top, helping the parents get educated. And then you have Alignment Rockford that's coming in, birth to 5. So, and then you have District 205. And I think if we all work together in harmony and we say, you know what, there's enough programs for kids, let's work on adults and get them taken care of, get them with some time management, conflict resolution, and really giving us some soft skills along with the education. I think it goes a long way.
It's all good work that you've been doing. Any final thoughts?
I'm just a servant to the community. I just want to help and be a part of the solution. I believe in Rockford. I'm a Rockford resident. I'm 815 strong. It's 815 against the world with me. And I'm just all about just making our neighborhood, making our city as best as we possibly can. And I see that one aspect that I think if we put a lot of time and effort and focus in, it would yield so many rewards.
You're doing great work, Leon.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for what you're doing in the community. Hey, and thank you for watching our program today. Please like our content, subscribe to our channel, and that's it for today. So thank you very much for watching. I'm Wally Haas.